First off, this isn't exactly homebrew news, but this is going to affect everything you do on the internet if you live in the United States. Me being in Canada, I won't feel the effects of this immediately, but whatever America does, Canada tends to follow. Long story short, companies like Comcast, Verizon, and AT&T want to end net neutrality, which is essentially going to allow them to block you from accessing certain websites and limiting how much speed you have on certain websites or streaming platforms. They can then force you to pay extra to access those streaming services and websites at full speeds. For example, you could be paying Netflix for a monthly subscription and then having to pay your ISP just to access Netflix with full speed. Obviously, we've got to do everything we can to stop this from happening, and my contribution to the movement is this video. But if you want to help out, head over to battleforthenet.com and write to Congress and learn more about what you can do by visiting the links below. Now that that's out of the way, let's draw a Pokeball and get started with the news. What's up, guys? Thanks for coming to Game in Canada with me. Today's episode of This Week in Homebrew is going to have a slightly different format, and we're going to be talking about a wide range of topics. After the video is done, I want you to head down to the comment section and let me know what you guys think of it. Was it okay? Was it epic? Or should I never do it again? Also, while you're down there, go ahead and slam that thumbs up if you want to see more episodes of This Week in Homebrew. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and enable notifications so you don't miss out on any of the Nintendo Homebrew updates. You don't want to be the guy who accidentally updated to 11.7, do you? Let's go ahead and get this started. Right off the bat, 3DS Recovery Tool has received an update around 6 days ago. Joel16 has been hard at work and he's now got a version 1.3. You can install it by scanning this QR code with FBI, or you can download the 3DSX file. I've gone ahead and downloaded the 3DSX file and I'm going to put it inside of my 3DS folder. One thing to note is that this file is named 3DS Recovery Tool, so if you drag and drop it, it might not replace your old version, which might only be named 3DSTool. So I'm going to go ahead and delete 3DSTool, and it's now been replaced with 3DS Recovery Tool, the latest version. With this version, there's been major changes with how the program handles files. It's been cleaned up so that it can properly access both archives. He's gone ahead and changed some of the names so that they're a little bit more descriptive. Added options to restore the local friend code seed and secure info from backup. This option restores the backups you made from within the app. One of the main things about this program that's really cool is that if you happen to not know what your old friend code was, this can pull it from memory. So if for some reason you wanted your old maybe banned friend code and you had lost your copy of it, you could use this program to reobtain it. Also, the dark theme not being able to be used has been fixed. Shout out Joel16, he's really active in the community and he's even commented on some videos before. We're over here on PKSM's GitHub repository, and if you guys remember last week, PKSM got an update to 5.0.0. Well, just a few days later, it got an update to 5.0.1, including a ton of bug fixes. So there has been a lot of things that you guys are going to want to have fixed on your version of PKSM, so it's highly recommended that you update to this. I posted about this on Twitter, so if you guys aren't following me on Twitter, it's where I post all the latest homebrew news, and it's the easiest way to get a hold of me. In case you guys don't already know, PKSM is basically a 3DS homebrew version of PKHex. Normally PKHex you need to have a PC to use, but PKSM can actually access your cartridge saves or your saves within eShop downloaded games. So if you happen to have Heart Gold or even Diamond and Pearl or even any of the 3DS versions of Pokemon games, then you can go ahead and use PKSM to edit your games on the fly. It has a super clean UI and it just looks absolutely awesome. It's very intuitive and actually the interface looks a lot like you're playing a Pokemon game, so you should be able to understand it right off the bat. You can also use PKSM as a homebrew bank in case you want to trade your mons between different cartridges and you only have one system. Some of the things fixed in this version are form editing crashes, whereas before you tried to edit the form of certain Pokemon and the program would crash. New forms that have been added to the game can now be moved into storage and returned back to your saves without problems. A really big one is that there was save corruption happening on Heart Gold, Soul Silver, as well as Platinum. So after event injection, you would go ahead and try to enter your save and the whole save would be corrupted and you'd lose everything. So obviously, if you're using PKSM to edit your DS games, you're really going to want to update to this version. Also, a lot of people were having problems with QR code scanning, so as you can see, Bernardo has laid down a few rules here. Go ahead, follow the guidelines precisely. Keep firm hands, don't be shaky. Keep the camera exactly perpendicular to the QR code, so the QR code shouldn't appear as curved in the screen at all. This seems to be the cause of most of the failures. Just a quick note on that, in case you didn't know, you can use PKHex on your computer to make QR code scannable Pokemon and then scan them with PKSM to enter them into the game. Pretty cool little achievement. You can go ahead and scan this QR code with FBI if you want to install it, or you can download the CIA here. If you happen to download the zip folder, inside of it will be a 3DS folder with the Homebrew version of PKSM. So go ahead and move that over to your 3DS folder on your SD card and you should have it installed. Over here on Rob Zait's repository for TWLoader, if you guys recall, the other week it got a first anniversary release, and since then has actually gotten 3 new releases. So this is the new release 6.1.0. What's new? Green has been added to the notification LED color options in the settings. It was previously known as Rainbow LED alongside the rainbow color option. Change the black theme name to gray black, as the theme is actually a little bit more gray and black than just black. TWL NAND side with TWL mode touchscreen has been added. Installing it is optional. It's going to be used for GameYob, which if you guys recall in the anniversary update, GameYob was added to TWLoader to allow you to have a collection of Game Boy or Game Boy Color ROMs alongside of your DS games. The only issue is the touch input still isn't fixed. A couple new improvements: enhanced graphics with an HDR high dynamic range look, so things will look a little bit awesomer. Also, to simulate darker blacks, the screens will actually be powered off when fading out. So instead of having a slight backlight behind your screen, the screen will completely turn off and it'll be as black as it can be. Few other random things, but we need to scroll up and look at the derp fix. So just a few days ago, version 6.1.1, a derp fix was released, and as you can see, some random updated graphics by Yupo03. Shout out, man, you're always in my comments. What is up? And one quick bug fix: the notification LED, if it's turned off, then the rainbow colors will no longer be used. So if you guys are interested in playing DS games on your 3DS, then you're probably going to want to check out TWLoader as well as NDS Bootstrap. Now again, these updates to TWLoader do not improve any ROM compatibility, as NDS Bootstrap is actually what is going to give us more compatibility. So we need to update to NDS Bootstrap to get more DS games working. Last up for the 3DS, we're over on the 3DS Hacks subreddit, and Steffer P asked a question: is it possible to have separate screen brightnesses yet? Really quickly after that, LeoJ_X went ahead and made this post where there is now a downloadable CIA, a scannable QR code, and a 3DSX file of 3DS Flash. Now 3DS Flash is a quick program they threw together that allows you to adjust the brightness individually for each screen using the D-pad. LeoJ apparently added all of the GSP LCD as well as GSP GPU brightness functions into CTRU lib. This allowed him to easily take a little test program and go ahead and create 3DS Flash, which now lets you adjust the brightness of both screens. Huge shout out to LeoJ, as this is just above and beyond a random question on a 3DS Hacks subreddit leading to a program mere moments later. I've gone ahead and downloaded the 3DSX version and put it into the 3DS folder on my 3DS's SD card. And as you can see, it's working absolutely epically. Let's move on to the WiiU news, and then shortly after that, maybe a bit of Switch news. Now, I'm sorry guys, there wasn't a ton of WiiU homebrew news, so the only thing I could really think to do was bring attention to the emulator tutorial I made yesterday. So basically, if you follow this video, you'll learn how to overclock your virtual Wii to gain extra speed in your homebrew programs, and then install a PlayStation 1 emulator to your Wii U's home menu. The awesome thing about this is that you have gamepad controls, and you basically create a PlayStation 1 Game Boy that you can just play handheldly. I would have never known that it was possible to get a PS1 emulator running so well on your Wii U if it wasn't for Matt Kimura's tutorial over here on GBA Temp. Obviously, there'll be a link down in the description in case you want to figure out how to play GameCube, PlayStation 1, and N64 games with your Wii U's gamepad. This is a little bit older news, but I thought I'd throw it in here just to add a little something to it. As you can see, JM1 seems to think that if you download Amazon Prime Instant Video app on your Wii U, that he will be able to exploit it sometime in the future, much like people thought you could exploit Crunchyroll. Now I have no doubt that this is totally possible, but currently at the moment I don't think there is much of a reason to. But for those on a 5.5.2 console that don't want to purchase a DS game for Haxchi, then this could potentially be a little bit more reliable homebrew entry point, much like the old browser exploit that we used to use on 5.5.1. Although mostly everyone is over on Haxchi now, this could be very useful in the future. Last up is a little bit of news for anyone that's looking to get Homebrew on their Switch. I'm over on the Switch Haxing subreddit, and as you can see, there's a post that says we got graphics. Basically, there is a video here called libtransistor canvas display, and it's basically showing Pegaswitch running a really simple little JavaScript homebrew program on a Nintendo Switch. So if you guys didn't hear recently, the Reswitch team gained code execution on the Switch, and Pegaswitch now has the ability to launch Homebrew on 3.0.0. The Pegaswitch team is only focusing on firmware 3.0.0, so if you already have a Switch past that, then you're not likely going to be able to run Homebrew anytime soon. If you happen to have a Switch that's below 3.0.0, you can use the Pokken Tournament cartridge to update to 3.0.0. This is currently the only way to get to 3.0 from a lower firmware. Although this isn't amazing or anything, it's still cool to see some sort of Homebrew running on a Nintendo Switch already within the first few months of release. Last thing, while on the topic of Switch Homebrew, I've started accepting donations for myself to buy a Switch so that I can use Pegaswitch on it. I'm going to hopefully get a Splatoon bundle, which might be on 3.0 or lower, and if it's on lower, I'm going to use Pokken Tournament to update it to 3.0.0. I'm not going to be playing any games on this system. It's going to be strictly for making homebrew videos in the future. If afterwards we're able to run games normally, then obviously I will be streaming with it. Shout out to the Real Bean Jr. as well as Obscenity for their $5 donations. We are now at $30 and on our way to getting us Switch Homebrew. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you're now all caught up on the latest Homebrew news. If you haven't slammed that thumbs up, slam the thumbs up, and I'm going to catch you guys soon. Peace.